weird to kind of see that be the set strategy, even when it might not necessarily be working in practice as we had there. So it'll be interesting. Again, when you take a look at the stat line specifically here, Avril, when it comes to Haven overall, this is a map that has been much more well rehearsed in just this First Strike series by Sentinels. They have not lost it yet, but one of those wins did come versus Dignitas in a 14-12 fashion, so it has not been nearly as convincing as you might hope. As T1 starts off on defense, you're going to see them playing, once again, this breach, which is another point of conversation, instead of the double duelist that you're going to see from Sentinels.
And that's really a T1 style of thing right now, as they like to put AZK on the breach pretty much permanently on all the maps so far. So he'll only be playing the breach, and you know, why not? Breach is fairly popular in the meta. If you actually look outside of NA, in towards Asia, in towards Europe, the breach pick rates are super high. It's only NA where the breach pick rates are fairly low. Most teams like to run double duelists instead of one duelist plus a breach. You are also going to see both of the Jetts come through now, so no raise for this map. And I know both of these players between ShahZam and Skadoodle had some mechanical mishaps on the raise. Hopefully won't be seeing any of that on the Jett.
Going out. Stealing sight.
zombs is going to look to execute here with dirt covers coming out. dapr with him over towards the A short area, and T1 will back away as they were initially considering jumping in to stop the plan from coming through, but DaZeD from the top rope, he's able to find one kill. That's going to be very valuable, as now T1 are going to have to try to find a way to navigate the retake out of 5v3 situation. And it just comes down to trying to overwhelm and play for trades here, you feel like, at a certain point. dapr tries to find a cheeky pick, but will be denied the opportunity. zombs up top will take down Skadoodle. dapr's able to find an opportunity for a second, so T1, now it's a 2v3. zombs, if you can find one more, would be great, and he is able to do it, and ShahZam from hell for 2. Sentinels able to hold on in a 3v5 post-plant situation for the pistol.
And that was really shaky, but Sentinels do it anyway. zombs, if he doesn't get that first kill on the player over towards Heaven, I think dapr just dies straight away. dapr dies anyway, but not before getting a trade first. This is how Sentinels will eke out small advantages. Because you look at dapr's situation, he's somewhat in the open there. He's obviously tucked into the cutout, into the corner. But at the same time, he's been paranoid, he's been flashed out. One player dropping out of Heaven will instantly see him, will probably frag him as well because dapr can't respond. So zombs saving dapr's life, allowing dapr to get a trade, and the rest of the Sentinels, then the 3 alive, getting the necessary kills, allows them to rescue that round from a 3-5 deficit.
Big defensive hold there. On the post plant, I should say. Big offensive defensive hold, if you want to call it that. Now Sentinels with a weapon advantage. Where do you want to go? T1 is going to take a gamble stack over towards C, as you already see Skadoodle has pushed very far forward defensively through A main, which will mean that DaZeD will also be just watching over towards B by himself. This is the correct stack, the correct gamble, but Sentinels have not committed yet. And that means that Skadoodle will have to be very careful in the timing of this push through, as now the recon bolt comes out, but even still, Sentinels not pushing as of yet. The hit through garage also on the way. Spyder, paranoia, going to be tossed out. Maybe an opportunity for one, but sinatraa holding down the trigger will find one. And dapr behind him will not just take out 2, he'll find a triple, and that'll be an easy plant for Sentinels looking for a flawless second round.
Yeah, T1 just don't have the equipment here. I mean, they play all the utility correct. Probably swinging a little bit too early there for Spyder. He flashes on through. Before the paranoia hits effectively, he's already swung out, which allows Sentinels to get that trade nice and early. And while the counter flash already was sent out by zombs on the other end of things, Skadoodle might be able to get 1 kill, but the answer ends up being a no, as ShahZam cleans that one up for a flawless round for the Sentinel side. And yeah, I mean, the equipment value there just up and alive for Sentinels, and T1 can only do so much with pistols.
Sentinels' offensive pressure on Haven is one of the best in North American Valorant. The tune of 70% attack win rate on Haven specifically is alarming, I think, if you're a T1 fan. I didn't realize there was a panda bear up there. Today I learned. Thank you, Mr. J. Pistachio, for the flyby. But now as we jump into this third round, again, this is the run that T1 will hopefully be able to find some favor, but considering how convincing the first 2 rounds have been, at least in some stretch for Sentinels, they still will be a little bit weakened on what armor they're able to bring to the table here in this gun round.
T1 were pretty decent on the A side defense. They got a couple of nice frags over towards this side of things via Skadoodle for at least 1. And Skadoodle now posts up in a situation where he should be able to see the push coming through from the sewers side of things, and the Molotov will confirm that information as well. Here's the hot hands. Don't hear how many people there are. Haven't had a rotation just yet. You do have DaZeD backing Skadoodle up, as now brax is making his way over.
Brax making his way onto the site, not going to try to play this from heaven, maybe reconsidering as he's still lingering over towards the link. Skadoodle's got a big role to fill here. He will be individually responsible for anything to come through short, while the rest of the defensive members for Team 1 will have to try to respond to the players coming through main. Brax is to find one. Now it's down to Skadoodle. He finds one kill, able to tail it away, but not going to get the kills. dapr will find another double, and that's going to lead to a spike plant here as the entirety of the A spike site will be cleared off. And now Sentinels, they'll have a 3v2 with a couple of weapon upgrades in front of them as well.
Ooh. Nil theft in play, confirms no one on the big flank there, and this is all dapr. Gets the opening frag, goes deep on site. Skadoodle dashes straight into the waiting arms of dapr as well for a double. He will be able to get an ultimate, will be able to play the ultimate, gets the Phantom upgrade, and Sentinels are on their way now. AZK and Spyder with a potential retake. There's the first kill onto zombs. Now a 2v2 situation. Spyder goes down. 1 versus 2. AZK can't land any shots. And Sentinels will take another post plant and round number 3. 3 gun upgrades. And T1 will go for an eco.
That's a bold call, I think, at a certain point for T1, who are going to, like you mentioned, have to eco. But the fact that you were going for a 2v3 where you don't have a lot of great utility to try to retake, you offer the opportunity to forfeit over your weapons to Sentinels as well. So not only is it 3-0, but now the economy for Sentinels can really start to snowball. We won't see an operator in this round offensively for Sentinels, but the consideration will absolutely be there in ones following, depending on how this 4th round goes.
Yeah, I guess to throw them a bone here, the best agents to go for the retake would have been between Breach, Sova, and the Omen, and they had 2 out of the 3 of those, so I guess the opportunity could have been there. They did get 1 kill. But they did also give over guns. The bigger consideration would have been not that you're going up against the bonus round of Sentinels anymore, but because they killed so many over on A already, the guns have been upgraded, so Team 1 were walking into a bit of a death trap, and, well, now the death trap continues as the jaw closes further. Should be a 4-0 pending any major mistakes from Sentinels, but they have 5 rifles, full armor, full utility versus 5 pistols on T1.
Brax trying to avoid the curveball by going to the dark cover, but Sick is there waiting for him, so that'll be first blood. Sentinels not committing to one direction or the other as of yet. And for T1, they were looking to more heavily stack towards C, but with this pick from Sick, they have to try to back away. Skadoodle's going to go into the Blade Storm. Sick getting a lot of damage dealt, but here comes the challenge, and Skadoodle will free up the opportunity for a weapon, and he will just pick it up. Does he keep it for himself, or does he drop it for a teammate while he's got the Blade Storm in play? While all that is being considered, Sentinels will try to make a play over towards A, and as you just mentioned, the weapon did get dropped over to a squad mate, so T1 are definitely in fighting condition to at least some extent here in the 4v4. So
they technically have 2 guns now. That's a refresh on the knives for Skadoodle as well. DaZeD with the rifle. 38 HP is not great. Maybe give that one over to AZK or Spyder. Spyder's a bit too far away. And, I mean, the other consideration would just be to save the 1 rifle. Everyone that doesn't have a gun will go for the retake. Skadoodle's already thinking about it. He's already feeling deep. Spyder now, paranoia, and Skadoodle jump and misses the right click, and you can't have that. As T1 down to 2 members, DaZeD will get this gun out of dodge. As AZK makes a last-ditch attempt, and that's all it will end up being. No kills, and nothing left for this round. DaZeD still has to make it out alive, by the way, as he's being chased down.
And there could be point of contact here on this exit, as DaZeD will have an opportunity, but dapr will find the kill. But you have to have that kill right there from Skadoodle. He probably doesn't find a second one, but if he can open up hell, there's an opportunity for the rest of his teammates to start to flood on in and get at least some sort of a read on where the rest of the Sentinels members were setting up for their post plant. But unfortunately, I think he only catches 2 of what needed to be 3 knives there on the fall down. A little unfortunate for him, but a flawless start here for Sentinels. They'll be 4-0 up. But coming off the eco, Skadoodle will bring the first operator to the table defensively for T1.
Skadoodle leading the charge now on the scoreboard for T1. Has been one of the more impactful members. Shot must be required to hit, but ShahZam will be able to get a free operator if he wants to. T1 have to rush over towards A right now. DaZeD has to get a couple of trades. We'll get the spike on the floor. Can't secure the second kill. And T1 have to think about retaking with 2. Emphasis on the thinking part, because they also have to think about whether they can retake with 2.
This is an expensive buy round here for T1 with the operator in play. I just don't think you go for it, and it looks like they were going to agree with us by backing away. Taking a look as far as was that operator picked up, not as of yet, but you can see ShahZam is in the area where maybe he tries to grab that if they so choose to use it into the next round. We'll see. Again, even beyond that, not only are the weapons great, but you've got an opportunity for a ton of ultimates for Sentinels into the next round. But at least Spyder is able to find 1 kill over towards C. And Sentinels who are hunting to take these weapons away might have to consider also just giving it up.
Yeah, they're going to handshake this one away. Camera ping on zombs as well, just to push them off. And Sentinels want to keep at least 3 alive here. We're still in early-ish rounds. I mean, this is 5 rounds so far, which, by the way, it's 5 rounds in a row.
Shadows.
But 5 rounds nonetheless, where you're still building up as much economy as possible, and you can afford to maybe give 1 gun away via dapr, and that's about it for now. As Sentinels looking very strong. 3 ultimates in play. If they want to go towards it, T1 have 2. Have a couple of hero rifles here. Should be able to drop at least 1. See, brax is on 3.4, but then again, it is Cypher that has to repurchase a lot of util. I don't think they lost armor, though, so it should be okay for, I think, 3 guns this round might be appropriate. There it is.
Oh boy. Need to find a way to get things going defensively for T1 at some point, but this does not feel like it's going to be the round for them. Hunter's Fury and the Rolling Thunder could be considered for T1, but again, it's just one of those things that if you're Sentinels, you still have so many tools available to you to not only counter those plays, but maybe to over-exceed them as well. And you're going to see maybe a potential as Zombs and Sick are getting aggressive through C long. Spike is coming this direction as well. The only player that's here defensively is going to be Spyder, and if this isn't execute, he's going to be pretty hard-pressed to hold on. The only good news is that AZK is nearby, and he could throw an early Rolling Thunder into the mix. You're going to get Hunter's Fury, and you're going to get to run it back early. Spyder's going to be flashed out, not able to take down the first instance of Sick, and he's going to be able to find a kill with this. Now the illusion of the Phoenix will be taken care of, but the trade is still there, and Sentinels are going to be on this site, and at this point for T1, this is a round that you're going to, again, have to just try to find a way to force some repurchases, because you've got no chance at this retake.
They got 1 gun alive right now via brax, but brax is the one playing most passively. He knows that this situation is probably a little bit too dire for him to go in, so the 2 players that can go into the pistols will try and do so. Skadoodle has been tagged by the L drone and will go down very quickly. Sick now on for the chase. Not going to want brax to get away with the gun this time around. There is still a lurker in the form of DaZeD over on the garage side of things, so possible timing here to sneak away 1 more weapon will be contact made, and that's the kill required. However, ShahZam on the other end gets the kill. brax for 1 into sinatraa, and brax not out of the fire just yet. Still 1 more player coming his way as Sick wants to challenge.
Ooh, nice wide peek there for brax. I didn't think he caught any information off the spy cam, but he sure challenged like he did. And maybe even considering taking a 3rd engagement, but again, trying to value this weapon as much as humanly possible. So 6 straight for Sentinels. Only having to use the Hunter's Fury to run it back to confirm round number 6. You still have the ability to see information from the shadows, which Zombs has been pretty free to do in the last couple of games that we've seen Sentinels try to play for him. So we'll see if he tries to use that here once more. On the opposite side, really slow start for both Spyder and AZK, just 1 and 5 and 2 and 6 respectively, as no one's even holding an even stat line KD-wise yet for T1. Skadoodle's going to try to get aggressive with the operator once more. He was punished for this place before, and this time it's going to be DaZeD who finds a kill defensively early onto dapr. That'll lead to a nice opportunity here for T1 to try to find their first defensive round.
Now this is what, T1's 2nd maybe gun round, an actual gun round where they're not working with hero rifles like they were last time. So this is one that really counts, and I mean the spike's already planted. It's a free B plant. We've seen what happens, by the way, when a team like Sentinels on the attack here get to stroll onto B for free and get most of their players out alive. They will lose 1, but the important ones are still there between Sick, the Phoenix player, sinatraa, the Sova as well. A lot of utility in play, but they're going quite aggressive in garage. I think this is a little unnecessary, and T1 have a great opportunity now.
Off your feet!
This does provide the conversation that Sentinels could potentially be looking to flank with the C garage completely vulnerable, but as DaZeD pushes through, he's going to find 1 kill. Spyder's just going to hold this, and as DaZeD finds the 3rd, the defuse will be there. So you have to admire, I think, for Sentinels, you're in a 4v5, you read the best position possible for you for plan is over towards B, but we were trying to frame at the point that Sick trying to play through C garage may be a bit unnecessary. I mean, you would feel like you would want the Phoenix utility just to try to hold off the diffusal, and without it, Sentinels don't have a realistic chance to stop the diffuser ever coming through.
Well, I'm going to be honest here. To look at it the other way around, to kind of throw a bone over, I would say that Sentinels know they were 1 down, so they were trying to maybe get 1 over T1 and try and bring it back to a 4v4 by catching a player out in garage, because you do expect the T1 will try to retake through garage in towards grass as well. So, what a forcing issue. Speaking of forcing issue, Skadoodle looking to hit 1 shot. We're given the blaze storm as well. Probably has to dash away. Does so, and they now need to call for some reinforcements. Aldrone from sinatraa will see that there's only 2 players here for now. This is going to be AZK trying to get his ass over as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the Aldrone sees Skadoodle on top of the double box. It's down to DaZeD. What can he do? He's only able to find one as he will find himself the double, and with that, the spike in hand, he will drop this for a plant. And for T1, this round has gone completely wrong for them. Another round where the operator finds no value whatsoever, and Sentinels very quick to identify the threat, and beyond that, identify the reposition and absolutely punish as they're going to find their 7th round.
You need more out of Skadoodle right now. I think the 3 and 6 is not really ideal. It's not just that, it's the operator kills. One op kill would have been really good, would have made the numbers that much more workable. I think the Aldrone coming through from Sinatraa, spotting where then Skadoodle is playing on top of the box as well, just pushes him off a second line, so he can't even hold sewers after that. And T1, I mean, how many saves have they had to do on this defense so far? It just seems like every other round ends up having to be a save. And thankfully for them, we are playing on the previous patch where they're not being punished fully for these just yet. Still getting full value into the money. dapr isn't going to be able to find anybody at the end of the round, so it is going to be T1 walking away with 2 rifles, but it's not 7 in a row, Chef, but it feels like it might as well be. It's definitely 6 in a row. It's 7 and 1, and we've seen a 7 and 1 before. It was the other way around in Bind, where T1 got the 7. But remember, everyone, after that, Sentinels got 9 in a row, so they're still kind of, back into that form right now as we head into the next gun round, and thankfully for T1, it is a gun round. Skadoodle will have the operator again and has another opportunity to maybe make some impact happen.
To be fair, again, we've only seen T1 play this map one time. Their defense was not all that sound when they played up against Gen G. Their offense was what looked more convincing than anything else, but still, this is not good news going into a potential half where you might only have a couple of rounds. This time, the run it back, going to be used again early, not going to find any value. And dapr will see information off the recon boat that there is a player stuck in the bottom left corner. Paranoia is going to come through and actually find so much value, and Spyder's able to find a kill. AZK another, and what was looking to be an isolated pick over towards Spyder comes through maybe way too late. ShahZam trying to play off of the Bladestorm, will find one, but brax, you think, has done enough as he is able to trade out his life for 2 full kills, and dapr is going to be stuck in a 1v2 situation. He grabs the spike.
Oh.
Operator shot will miss, and dapr's going to be allowed to plant this. This is still doable.
He is going to get pinched, though. I mean, you look at the positioning coming through. As DaZeD makes his way over towards C-Long, the position is revealed. dapr does at least get the information from the trap wire, and dapr's going to try and force the issue for a 1v1. He knows he needs an isolation. Skadoodle watching it, and Skadoodle will confirm the kill. Finally, we are going to see the operator come into effect, and I think props to Spyder there. Despite Spyder being at the bottom of the table right now for T1 and, still dying on site, a big problem for T1 so far is the lack of the ability to get trades as a hit comes through. The execute from Sentinels arrives, and T1 just kind of flop over. They don't get enough trades. They don't get enough kills for the anchors on site. And finally, we get to see a little bit of what we saw on Bind, where Spyder throws out a Paranoia. AZK and or brax are there to utilize it and capitalize on that and get a couple of kills as well. And that's how T1 can make the trades happen to make sure they don't just get run over on site. As we head over to the next round, we are going to see the double operator, and this is very important for a map like Haven. Double op is very good. Don't see it as often now in the current meta because of how expensive the gun is, but we do know that Spyder is a very good operator player himself. Again, you mentioned this guy's capabilities coming through from his previous game. He is known to be a sniper main, and now we get to see that in action.
ShahZam, for his second round offensively when it comes to bringing out the scope, will try to free up some space over towards A, which has been where Skadoodle largely has taken his operator. This time it'll be different. He'll be actually playing over the mid towards B. Spyder still holding his traditional spike side of C, will have a little bit of help from brax, who's nearby, and Skadoodle almost is able to catch a little bit of information onto dapr, who will just barely back away before peeking. And now Sentinels, as they make a play over towards A short. DaZeD has to find at least 1. 2 would be incredible. He's going to find nothing, though. And now as the Hunter's Fury is going to be used offensively to try to clear out some space on top of the site itself. This will be a take, but Skadoodle, he'll deny the first. Opportunity maybe for a second. Cyber Cage going to come through. AZK on the site with him. There's 1 kill and a second. That's beautiful for AZK. Skadoodle, he can have a little bit of help from brax, and that little bit of help is more than necessary as he will find the final kill, and T1 will find their 3rd round defensively.
And a bit of deja vu here as well. We look towards the 3-7 scoreline. 2 more rounds remaining. The possibility for T1 to pick up 2 more and make it a 5-7, and that would mirror our first half of Bind as well. Again, after one of the 2 teams gets a very large spree of rounds in a row. I'm not going to say that Sentinels have slowed down just yet because they still have money to play with. If they don't win this round, the next buy might be a little bit more awkward. T1 still have 2 operators in play. They still have plenty of money to work with, and this is their best chance now to get 2 more on the board before we go to the second half.
Early Hunter's Fury coming through. ShahZam actually is trying to updraft away from it, but DaZeD locks him down.
Deploying drone.
And the ambitious call pans out in a major way for T1, trying to get the 5 rounds defensively before the half swap to be great for them. Brax trying to spam. Not going to find any connections initially through the dark cover, and Spyder will soak up the better part of a shock dart. Good value coming through for both of our Sova players early. And Sentinels, who are still stacked towards C long, have a lot of time to consider if they actually want to hit this. Spyder might actually force them away as he gets the operator to sing a tune here. And with that, he will be revealed by the recon bolt, holding the paranoia, now reconsidering. And him and Brax are not out of the woods yet. There is still a hit coming through. dapr has literally wiggled his way forward. He's going to catch 1 for free. Knows that dappr's nearby, or pardon me, that Brax is nearby. He'll find the second kill, and Sentinels, with their gut check call to hold towards C long, will pan out as they get the spike planted.
T1 gets spooked out by the recon bolt there. I mean, you see what happens is Brax puts up a cage to try and save Spyder because they feel like Spyder's going to get rushed. He gets a paranoia out as well, still has a paranoia out, and dapr slowly crawls his way in, gets the kill. Zombs TP's into the aftershock there, so AZK is awarded a freebie. The Rolling Thunder's still available if they want to go for it, but they're just going to go and drive right now. Skadoodle down early, AZK as well, and now just down to 1. Now they wish they actually put in the Hunter's Fury, or rather, the Rolling Thunder, as DaZeD did put in the Hunter's Fury early on to get the 1 kill, and that's kind of what hurts about the situation, because T1 had an early advantage. They had their best chance to get 1 more round to make it a 5 and 7 half, and now the best they can do is a 4 and 8.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that Spyder, he often has been a menace when it comes to defensively solo holding over towards C. He's only found 3 kills, and the choice there to hold onto the paranoia a touch longer, maybe it's a call from Brax saying, hey, we don't need it yet, we're okay, actually costs him his life, and in turn costs them the C site, as Brax also gets spammed through the cyber cage. Good awareness from dapr overall, and then Sinatraa is able to clean things up with a double to make sure that T1 can never fully establish themselves on the site. So now Sentinels looking for more favor over towards C. Recon bolt again, finding a lot of information and a lot of value. Sick with the run it back, able to find 1 kill. He'll eventually be dealt with, but again, the opening pick is great for Sentinels as they're once again freely onto the C site.
That's another unresponded site take as well. I mean, we've seen some response from T1 where there have been good defenses, where they get some trades, but this is not one of them. This is one of those early rounds within the first 6 that we see, which is why there was a 6 and 0 where T1 kind of just fall over on site. The Rolling Thunder now is going to get played, but look how far away T1 are. They can barely even take advantage of this. In fact, they're not going to get a single kill off the Rolling Thunder itself.
The spike is planted pretty deep, though. You'll be hard-pressed to get a hot hands this direction. As Skadoodle finds 1 kill, the Cloudburst will come through, just a bit errant on his second shot, but AZK will punish for a kill. Flashpoint coming out, AZK able to find another, no problem there, and yeah, this is a little bit too hard, I would say, for Sentinels overall, although
hang on.
able to line down not 1, not 2, but 3 long-range shots, but Skadoodle turns just in time. Halfway diffused, now fully diffused. But goodness, Zombs Nation almost woke up in a big way there for a near clutch from Sentinels. We'll still see T1 be able to find 4 rounds.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe what I just saw there coming through from Zombs. That was nearly the sickest clutch, maybe of the entire tournament. Through the smoke, just gets everybody down. That looked like a guaranteed win for T1. Ends up being a win for T1. 4 and 8 half here as we close it out for the opening. Let's take a look at the instant replay provided by GoPuff here, as, you know, again, it is a 6 and 0 start as we start seeing the first round that T1 come through on, and they start getting a little bit of momentum, but, you know, this is that particular round as well. We're not really seeing Skadoodle doing too much with the operator.
Or the Blade
Sick has
Sword.
been pretty phenomenal on the Phoenix as well. Every time he uses the run it back, it does feel like he gets some decent value, especially on the B. We saw that previous round where Spyder kind of just falls over to it. T1 now on the offense, 4 to 8, have a little bit of catch up to do.
A lot of span shops coming through over towards A long. Looks like just about everybody will survive through this without too much damage being found. ShahZam down to 22 HP, actually forced a tailwind back onto site. Bit puzzling to see what exactly happened right there, but again, T1, we know it, we've talked about it. They're going to be waiting for a while before they execute. The spike is still over towards B window, and Sentinels very appropriately are splitting 2-1-2 across the map defensively from C to A.
Just keeping some sights over towards B side of things as well. And T1 are going to just take their time. As soon as one piece of information comes through, the Owl drone into sewers, Sentinels are like, okay, might be A. They're starting to throw utility. Look at this. All the smoke's coming on through. That's actually a lot of information. The fact that Spyder also throws in a bit of util in terms of the smoke, that's pulling Sentinels all the way over. Now zombs is calling for the rotation back. He sees everybody coming up C.
He's going to save the paranoia for the retake as well. This is actually a really brilliant play. A lot of the time you'll see Omens throw that down the hallway. He's going to have the resistance and the resiliency to hold on to this, to make sure teammates can come through. Keep your eye on dapr. Long flank coming through as Sick and Spyder will find a couple of trades. Now on the backside flank, Team 1 going to clean things up. It's just down to zombs, who did spend the paranoia for that potential retake, but it obviously did not find nearly as much value as Sentinels were hoping for. Zombs' position will be made aware, and he can't quite win the gunfight versus AZK. Pistol will go to T1.
That's one of the cleaner takes that we've seen from T1 as well, where I mean, they're baiting a lot of util over towards the A side of things. Sentinels react to it, an instant reaction in some cases where the initial Owl drone comes through sewers. Instantly, you see Sick moving towards A as well, and then T1 start making their way slowly towards C. The hit comes through Zombs. He's not going to be able to stop it. Like I said, holds on to the paranoia as well, and the retake unsuccessful. So T1, pistol in their hands now. They do get that one round. They will most likely also get the anti-eat going. That will be important for their comeback journey as they'll try and close things down to only the gap of 2.
Sick, I would say. Fortunate to back away. Looked like he wanted to move a little bit further forward. A shock dart would have chunked him pretty heavily. But he's still going to peek this, I believe. You hear the shots coming out, and there is the peek, and Sick will walk away with the kill. A bold engagement, but one that pans out massively for Sentinels. But Spyder coming over towards the site, has to respond to 2 different players, and he gets a little bit nervous about the gunfight coming through. Curveball will come out, and the trade will eventually be there, but it doesn't come at too much of a cost. We're in a 3v3. dapr over towards A defensively has one in front, but the Bulldog of AZK is just a touch better. And with that, T1 will get a spike plant here at A.
Sentinels will get a couple of gun upgrades here, just minor ones in terms of the SMGs. We'll see if that's going to give them enough legs to really go for this retake. Here comes potential for a very early 1v1. sinatraa hasn't been spotted yet, but you can see that Skadoodle is thinking that somebody's here, dashes away. Power bursts into effect as well, and now let's see if sinatraa can make his way in.
You've got to go aggressive here if you're sinatraa. Everything hinges on him finding success in the back to allow zombs to move forward, and with him being shut down, Zombs, you're going to play for a couple of exits. He's going to try to, but Skadoodle will awaken with the ghost this round. He's now 12-8, topping his team at the moment, and he's been a lot of the reason why these opening pistols have looked so great for T1.
Scar's also, by the way, 1 away from the ultimate here as well, now in the Blade Storm, so getting that one will be really nice. But look at this as well, because of the opening frags, we're going to be seeing a round 3 rush on the operator, question mark. Does he go for that one? It is a bit of a sell. And doesn't look like he wants to just commit to it just yet. But what we do see on the other end is sinatraa on towards the Odin. So very typical sinatraa weapon for the Sova on the defense through the garage doors as well. The spam is going to come through.
There it is. Nobody nearby, though, to find any damage. ShahZam is going to play aggressive. He deletes the trap wire. And now all of a sudden, T1 are going to recognize there's a potential threat coming out of this A short side. AZK will punish. I don't know, it just feels a touch too telegraphed for my liking when it comes to dealing with the trapwire and then peeking. dapr was trying to help, but there's really only so much that he could do. So an opening pick for T1 will allow them an opportunity for a 5v4 for the rest of this round.
And now there's a bit of a weakness over towards the B side of things because you have to pull Sick over to cover ShahZam's position. So 2 players now guarding the gun. They do want to guard the gun. T1 will be very tempted to make the play. There will be the responding kill. dapr will bring one back to make numbers even 4-4. Spike is still not committed yet. T1 is still not committed yet. You see Spyder on the other side of the map trying to make a little bit of presence known versus zombs. Will respond with a bit of a smoke. And now as we approach the 30-second mark, T1 look like they're going to go to A.
Blade Storm is available if they so choose to use it. Might be a consideration, considering that it's only a Spectre here for Skadoodle, and there it is. Cyber Cage will also be spent. Skadoodle's going to work his way over. Going to read that there is a player up top. But as he works his way on, it's actually brax just spamming through the dark cover, actually cleans up dapr from heaven. So, huge opportunity. The spike goes down safely. Sentinels are nearby for a retake. The Aldrum's going to be saved and now spent to try to read some information, and that's going to be very valuable, as you know now that there is a player below. sinatraa hoping for a pick. Not going to fully clean things up, but Spyder will eventually fall to 6. Now up top, sinatraa gonna help out as him and Sick again combine for another elimination. And now it's DaZeD by himself, and inside this dark cover, he will reveal his position, has a recon bolt to play with. Gonna find some intel off of it. Has a read on the one, but can't get the kill. So now it's just down to brax for a 1v3. Time is a problem. Can he find the angle? He does find the elimination, but it's the halfway. It's gonna be really close, and the defuse will be there for Sentinels on the retake.
1.0 seconds. T1 cut that one nice and close, but Sentinels will still get the defuse via the fact that they had a half in there already. sinatraa with the Odin coming out big as well over towards Heaven. You see T1 trying to retake from that angle in sewers. sinatraa shuts it down. The Odin gets a lot of spam damage in the floorboards and towards Hell. And Sentinels keep their guns alive off a really unfortunate start. I remember ShahZam goes down right at the beginning there. That ends up being recovered with Sick joining dapr to try and hold on to that positioning. The rest of Sentinels eventually go for the retake. Let's take a look at this now. Sick's going to go in very aggressive. Let's see if he gets another kill.
There should be some information. Yeah, the spam shot's already coming through. Sick is going to find nothing with that. The information is going to be pretty much, okay, good for you. But with a minute 20 left, T1 can reposition without any problem. No one pushed up behind this play as well. So not even map positioning taken away here from Sentinels off that play. It was really just looking for an opening pick. And as that does not come through, now they're without any ultimates for their defense. sinatraa still holding on to the Odin, as you would come to expect. Skadoodle with the operator will be trying to see if anyone will peek him through C garage. And with 60 seconds, the defense will actually stack over towards A as if to predict this is eventually going to be the hit.
And that's the lack of information coming through as well. I mean, we don't have sinatraa pulling out the Aldrin just yet. Going for any massive info plays. This is T1 now, putting their recon over towards garage. That'll pull sinatraa over. It's going to come down to zombs. He needs to be the one to hold on for as long as possible. Finally, sinatraa will go for the scouting. He won't see anyone in garage, and that's because everyone's in long right now.
30
this is
seconds
a pretty
left.
elongated Al drone, and it will at least catch information on one player over towards the middle of the map. sinatraa's going to try to take value off of this, and he does confirm a lot of damage, but the action is actually going over towards zombs directions at C. He won't be able to find a kill, and with that, the spike will be planted. Still plenty of time for Sentinels to get here for a retake, but they're in a 4v5 situation. You don't have to run it back to get through. You do pick up DaZeD, who's lurking mid-map, so now a 4v4 on the retake. Spyder without a paranoia or a dark cover is trying to hold over towards the double box. Skadoodle going to be hard-pressed just to hold this scope as he's watching over towards C garage. Misses the first shot. Now here comes the rest of the hit. Spyder will find a couple. He's on 3 this round. Sick will be hit by the spam of the spy dart. He's now in a 1v2. Double curveballs come through. He's going to get information right onto one player over towards C long. But he's going to have to find a third kill. Blazewall about to come through, but brax will take him down from the garage alley, and that will be T1 now on 7.
And brax was unknown for quite a long time there. Picks up the operator in the last second to give it over to the teammate, so Skadoodle has another opportunity. And for Sentinels, kind of just got out-rotated there. A massive 4-stack over towards A. sinatraa eventually makes his way over towards B and garage, but it's too late. I mean, at that point in time, you saw what T1 were doing. 4 upper C long, zombs with 0 information. The Aldrin goes in garage, sees nobody, eventually gets some eyes onto DaZeD, who's kind of lurking in mid. Not quite reliable information, doesn't really tell you enough, doesn't prepare zombs, and zombs gets rushed down almost instantly as the Aldrin comes in. So T1 get a free plant, round in there as well. And Sentinels now on the next defense. They don't really have much to work with. A couple of stingers. This
is interesting. sinatraa is going to try to play aggressively over towards A long. He's used his recon bolt, and now he's also used his Aldrone, and AZK nearly gets the kill, but actually takes more damage than he was able to send out. And now all of a sudden, Sentinels are looking to stay aggressive. Spyder is holding this angle, and he's going to see information not just on 1, but on 2. He'll confirm onto zombs, and still looking to maybe threaten this would be Sick. He's still holding over towards C long. Hot Hands comes through. Skadoodle's now watching this with an operator, and it looks like no more interactions will occur here at C long, but Sentinels, off of what has been a light buy round, are in a pretty hard-pressed position to hold anywhere defensively at the moment.
ShahZam finds a frenzy headshot, but it's not going to do enough damage here. He has to dash away even, so utility spent. And they need a little bit more as T1 just hold on strong with 5. And C is where a possible trap has been set up. Sick is just
30 seconds
tucked
left.
away in the cubby there with a bucky in hand as well, so might be able to get 1 kill. So far hasn't been spotted. Dodged on the camera as well. Has to swing because the Aldrone would have spotted him, and Skadoodle will punish him, shut him down. sinatraa now with the stinger on the cubby itself. And Spyder's going to swing into him and clean that up as well. So T1 still 5 alive versus just the 2 of Sentinels.
This will likely be the 8th round. Sentinels will try to punish and force as many repurchases as possible as they look to play for exits, and dappr's actually going to go through the C garage and maybe try to play over towards C long. At least that was the consideration. Now he's actually looking to try to help out by pushing over on in. ShahZam got onto the site, but as dapr falls, not really a hope here for ShahZam, and Spyder will find his 3rd kill. Waking up here offensively as Spyder had a really tough go of it defensively, but all of a sudden he's 11 and 13. He has had an incredible 5 rounds on this attacking side so far.
Yeah, I mean, he spent most of that first half sitting between 1 and 3 kills for the most part. And now he's getting quite active on that kill feed. And Sentinels, I mean, at this stage in the game, now that we've reached this half, it's a 4-1 start where Sentinels are the 1 side of things, so not great for them. They've had to eco more times than they would like and would have to do so again if they lose this round. In fact, might have to go for a couple of saves or something. ShahZam, operator in hand right now. A couple more players close towards ultimates between dapr and zombs. Let's see if ShahZam gets anything early. Does updraft on top of the box. Will this be spotted? Will this be red?
No movement for now, but the spike is lingering over towards A. Zombs was playing aggressively through A sewer, but he'll back up. Aldrone for days will likely be able to see this position for ShahZam, and this will likely be an angle forfeited. A couple of spam shots will be tossed out, but nothing will confirm. Fault line will also be spent just to make sure nobody's holding down in this little cubby outside A long. And Sentinels now will just be trusted to hold on to the A site with what looks to possibly be 3 members. Sika's going to look to rotate over if he hears the commitment. So this is actually not bad at all for Sentinels.
Yeah, he's close by. The problem here for T1 is they've not made enough noise over towards C. Spyder's already backed down, and he's not really keeping dapr busy at all. Sinatra's also Aldrone through Garrow, so he knows nothing's there for now. He's been in Garrows the entire time for the most part, so he hears nothing. And now for Sentinels, you've got to be pretty sure it's going to come through from A. And there comes the TP in. Zombs gets a bit of info, and that will be confirmation.
Big pick, though, for ShahZam. That'll slow things down. The Paranoia will try to reinvigorate this defense, but Skadoodle still finds a pick onto Zombs. And it looks like ShahZam has actually picked up the operator and now dropped it for a Phantom. He's going to find one. Sinatraa, another sick, able to help out as Skadoodle only caught the leg, I believe. And that will be enough for Sentinels to hold defensively. 10-8 we go. An expensive round for T1, but they'll still be able to afford into this next one. But things will get dangerous if they drop this next round for them, as not only will be 11 rounds for Sentinels, but they'll likely have to save.
And the problem here is this is one of those classic slow T1 rounds where they just don't default anywhere else. They not only come into this one quite slowly, but they're giving away too much info about where they're actually going to go, and then they commit there. The last time they played the round slowly and they committed util over towards A, they actually went over towards C, so they faked A. This time they commit to A, but they don't default towards C or be nearly long enough. Again, Spyder just kind of does minimal things over towards C, then instantly rejoins his team, so it allows Sentinels to get the appropriate rotations, and as we enter this particular round, that's 1 kill straight away, and that's not a great start for Sentinels, but 4 alive still.
Even worse news is the fact that there is still the Rolling Thunder to be used here in what feels like a must-win round for T1. I say that with hesitation, though, because there's still a lot of life left in this map for them. But if you can take this one convincingly, it'd be great. Flashpoint's going to come through, but Six still finds an elimination to tie things up in a 4v4, and he actually is going to be able to find a second. Not really sure what Brax was looking at there. He just starts to walk away, and he gets punished for it. So now it's a 3v4, Rolling Thunder off the table, Neural Theft off the table, and now T1 are in a much more difficult spot to try to execute. It's going to be a hit over towards C. Dapper's on site. You've got help from Sinatraa. The recon bolt's going to find a lot of information, and Sentinels will convert off of it. Oh boy, T1, things have really fallen apart, and credit Sick on the other side for being able to find not just 1, but 2 kills.
Yeah, and that's just going to be the shutdown coming on through. Now, Sentinels have completely dismantled T1's offense.
30
and a good read
left.
as well, like you mentioned, Sick here, because they lost ShahZam super early. So they respond. They assume someone's still there. They assume that T1 are trying to take A-long control. Sick reads it, pops in the runner back. I believe gets the kill to AZK despite being flashed and then through the smoke as well. Sick is getting so much value on most of these runner backs. I say most because there have been a couple where it's gone awry, but for the ones that have hit, they have hit hard and they've really put T1 down. T1 get aggressive. They start to really speed things up over towards C because they know, okay, they've been completely scouted out over towards A. They don't want to allow Sentinels to rotate too hard over to C, but they get shut down as well. I mean, Sinatra's there, the recon bolt comes through, reveals everybody, and Sentinels just wipe the floor clean.
Well, we'll take a look to see what T1 wants to do. Money's not going to be able to afford them a full gun round, but it looks like they all are still going to be trying to force into this one. AZK will go into a Bulldog in favor of the full armor instead of going light with an AR that's more traditional, whether that's a Phantom or a Vandal, his preference. So now it's a must-win round for T1. You lose this one, Spyder's not going to be able to afford anything in the next. And you'll have Sentinels on map point. Again, still the Rolling Thunder available. A couple of spam shots do connect on the DaZeD. He's already brought down to half HP. Again, early value here from Sentinel. Spyder trying to respond back through his own dark cover, but nothing's going to occur here. And there is essentially a two-man stack. Consider there to be a third there for Sentinels over towards C, which has been the preferred site thus far, really for both squads.
However, A is completely clean, and that allows AZK once again to get free presence over towards A long. And eventually, as he starts thinking about making his way over, they'll be able to get the spike there too. They're defaulting a little bit harder on the other sites now. You see both Spyder and Skadoodle working their way into C. And Spyder's even going to tuck in for the potential aggression from Sick. And Sick does like to walk down. Here he goes. He will be punished. Does that call for T1 to move over, though? They are still just working time, working numbers. Aldrone scouts out over towards mid as well. Spike is still uncommitted. AZK also has not walked up further. He is respecting the fact that ShahZam is also sniping, and he doesn't know where ShahZam is yet.
Both teams will essentially be able to read that Sentinels are going to go to a 2-2 stack. 2 at C, 2 at A. And actually, Sinatraa is starting to play over the middle of the map. He could be here quickly on the defense. 20 seconds left to play. Rolling Thunder is going to come out. That's actually through short. It's not going to hit really anybody on site. Actually, pardon me, it does hit zombs up top at heaven, but he's going to stay safe through this. And as he gets a lot of information, he's not just going to find one, he'll find a second. ShahZam was stuck with an operator, but now he's got the Blade Storm, and as Sinatraa rotates in, he'll find a kill, but Spyder for 2. Time is the problem. 2 seconds, and dapr's just going to walk away and see the 12th round confirmed for Sentinels. And now all of a sudden, T1 are going to be in a really tough spot economically to try to bring this one back.
I'll tell you what, time is the problem is going to be the quote written on the tombstone of T1 here, because said it time and time again that they don't leave themselves with nearly enough time. 30 seconds remaining. They go for the play. And Spyder wins that situation. He's got the 2 kills required. He's got a 1v1 there. If he actually has Spike in hand, or he has enough time to recover it and plant, he's good to go. There's another situation where he's the Omen player. He hears from the shadows, teleports away with the spike and plants somewhere else and see it or something like that. But again, this is another situation where just a few seconds ends up being the difference between winning and losing for T1. And Sinatraa and the rest of his squad and Sentinels now 12-8 map point, ready to take us to map 3.
And no Rolling Thunder here, but there is the Hunter's Fury. Bladestorm going to be hit. Skadoodle looking to bring that one in for maybe an opening pick somewhere over towards C. Spycam will find some information. Sinatra's now going to double check with the Aldrone. And he will see only the opposite Aldrone for now, but there are 3 members. Okay, now he's going to see information. Hunter's Fury is going to come through. They're trying to confirm a kill on the dapr. He's going to back away, but while they do, T1 Skadoodle able to get their way onto the site and find a pick. Skadoodle's going to try to lock things down with the spike coming down early. Sentinels on the potential retake. They're only able to find one. AZK holds strong. And now a 4v2. Sentinels, do you go for this? The money was not in a great position, and you really don't want to give away an operator, so it just comes down to if zombs finds a pick or 2, maybe there's an opportunity. But it looks like he's going to just try to bail away, steal some of these weapons to make sure they stay safe as he juggles them back over towards the defensive spawn. T1 will be able to find their 9th round.
And T1 speed up successfully here as well. After failing to get the plant of the previous round, running out of time, they say no more of that. Instantly onto C, instantly get the plant down. They lose 1 player in Spyder, but the job's been done there. Sentinels lose 3, can't even get on site. Look at all the blue X's. And the last 2 players will try and get themselves out alive. Keep that Odin alive as well is, I think, the main goal of what Zom's trying to achieve in that situation. And T1 keep themselves in the game for now. 9 and 12, 3 more to go. 3 more rounds like that, and I'll believe that T1 can take us to OT, and that would be the 2nd OT of the series. And I think T1 have the capability to do so. It just requires them to play 3 more very good rounds.
Taking a look at our ultimates for right now, obviously you've got the Neural Theft for both sides and then From the Shadows for Zombs, but you're also close to getting Sinatraa another Hunter's Fury. Spyder very close to his own From the Shadows, and then you know that Sick has been good at getting these run it backs, and we've talked about already the prevalence of him having it. It's been a little bit hot and cold, but Hot and cold might not be enough to really kind of frame up the imagery there. It's been either piping hot or slightly cold. What is that peek from ShahZam? Jumps over the cyber cage and then snaps on the AZK for first blood. Unbelievable. Zom's now in a position to try to isolate the kill as well onto Brax. He's not going to expect this. Thank you very much. Sentinels looking primed to take the map as they're in a 5v3. DaZeD will have to find a big kill over here towards B. Skadoodle's going to also jump on in. Curveball will stall any hit from coming through. DaZeD now with the shock dart coming out. Not going to find much value there as Sick finds 2 kills. Sentinels confirm the 13th round, and we're going to go to map number 3.
T1 give a little bit of